Unfortunately, there is an element to the NFL experience that is the safety for fans that are journeying to the stadiums on game day.
Showing a chaotic scene after the Broncos-Raiders game last night. Police responding to a big fight outside Empower Field at Mile High Stadium.
There are still some NFL stadiums that you really ought to be careful leaving, especially if it is a night game. So today, let's take a look around the league at the 10 most dangerous stadiums to go to. Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas Raiders. The NFL putting a team in Las Vegas was a seminal moment in league history. It represents a massive shift in public opinion and, well, strategy, because not only did they uproot a legendary franchise from an area that was filled to the brim with diehard fans, but they also did so after years of rebuking Sin City for all its deep gambling ties. The move obviously was not well received in the Bay Area, but beyond the region's borders, it was ultimately, well, pretty positive. And, with good reason. Allegiant Stadium emerged as the crown jewel of Las Vegas, offering state-of-the-art facilities and a prime location near the Strip. It is a beautiful place to see a game in an exciting destination. But with that comes some very legitimate safety concerns. You see, Las Vegas is a city that literally never sleeps. And the mix of game day excitement with the city's vibrant nightlife can lead to some unpredictable situations. Fans leaving Allegiant Stadium at night should be aware of the high volume of transient people that are flowing through the areas surrounding the stadium. These kinds of areas can and have become hotspots for rowdy behavior and, well, potential crime. While the local authorities are adept at managing large crowds due to the city's tourist-heavy nature, the sheer volume of people can still pose risks, which are even greater come game day because local criminals know that a large influx of susceptible visitors will be injected into the area near the stadium. Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia fans are known for their passionate and sometimes, well, aggressive nature. And in many ways, the Eagles diehards that call Lincoln Financial Field their home really lead the way here. The venue itself has seen its fair share of incidents over the years. It's located in South Philadelphia, an area that can be particularly challenging to navigate after dark. I mean, the city as a whole's crime rate is higher than the national average, and the southern section where the stadium was stood up is a very notable hotspot. The area around the stadium can be particularly dangerous if you're a visiting fan, especially one with a tendency to run your mouth a little bit, because Eagles fans really don't take kindly to that sort of behavior, and unfortunately have often resorted to violence in the past. In 2019, a visiting fan was actually hospitalized after being assaulted by a group of Eagles fans in the parking lot. The organization did act swiftly, installing additional lighting and increased security patrols, but even with that, incidents do occur. The results from a recent survey are particularly damning. 63.2% of NFL fans surveyed have been to a game where they have witnessed a crime, with the most common infraction seen being physical violence. The best course of action for anyone attending a night game at Lincoln Financial Field is to stick to well-lit, populated areas and avoid engaging with overly passionate fans who may or may not have had a little bit too much to drink. Ford Field, Detroit Lions. The Motor City doesn't exactly have the best reputation in recent years for its infrastructure, safety, and, well, the other sort of modernities that have come to be expected for most American metropolises. Unfortunately, it seems that Ford Field, home of the beloved Lions, is, well, more of the same. The area around the stadium is definitely sketchy, and there have been, well, a fair number of issues reported over the years. And the fans that go to the games there very much so know it. Heck, check out these telling results from a survey conducted by the Sportsbook Review, wherein 73% of both men and women are not okay with leaving female fans by themselves, and over 77% of parents said that they wouldn't be comfortable letting their child attend games at their team's home stadium alone. That is a far departure from the family-friendly environment that the league really tries to propagate. We've actually seen some pretty scary incidents take place there over the years. I mean, think back to 2016 when two men were literally robbed at gunpoint outside the stadium. Scary stuff. Ford Field is definitely one of those NFL stadiums that, should you attend, you ought to exercise an extra degree of caution when you're coming and going, especially if it's a night game. Empower Field at Mile High, Denver Broncos. Empower Field at Mile High offers breathtaking views of the Rocky Mountain landscape and a fantastic game day atmosphere. However, there are some risks for fans that venture out to Denver to see a game there. You see, the surrounding area can become a bit sketchy, particularly after dark because, well, Denver, like many urban areas, has pockets that can be unsafe, especially for those unfamiliar with the city. And unfortunately, their football stadium is right in the heart of that risk. Broncos fans are generally friendly, but the mix of alcohol and the raw emotion of football fandoms can sometimes lead to conflicts, though that really isn't the major risk factor here. In 2023, a report surfaced that shared some fairly damning information about the area, detailing that there are 70 crimes per 1,000 residents in the zip code where the stadium is located. Yeah, so while the team puts a lot of measures in place to try and combat this, they still very much so have their work cut out for them. Lumen Field, Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks fans are some of the most dedicated in the league, and the stadium is always packed. As much as people on the internet have grown a little bit tired of the attention the 12th man in the Pacific Northwest can get, they do ultimately deserve some of the credit for their loud and rowdy ways. However, this also means that the surrounding areas can become a bit, well, chaotic after games, as most of the fans have been sufficiently worked up into a frenzy, and sometimes that mob mentality really takes over. Other people attending games at Lumen Field should be particularly cautious of their belongings and avoid wandering into unfamiliar areas when they're leaving the venue. Again, particularly at night. Lumen Field was actually reported to be the second most dangerous stadium in the NFL in terms of crimes per 1,000 residents living in the stadium's zip code, just a handful behind Mile High. Now, most of it is believed to be property crime rather than violent, which, yeah, I guess that's good. But either way, the fact of the matter remains that fans should definitely have their guards up when going in and out of Seahawks games. Cleveland Browns Stadium, Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns Stadium, formerly known as First Energy Stadium, is positioned quite nicely on the shores of Lake Erie, providing a picturesque backdrop for football games. Only improving the atmosphere is the fact that the venue is often filled with die-hard fans, and thus has a rather electric environment. Now, unfortunately, Cleveland's downtown area can be somewhat deserted at night, thus increasing the risk of encountering unsafe situations. According to the aforementioned NFL Stadium Crime Report, the Cleveland Browns Stadium ranks second behind Ford Field with 17.16 crimes per 1,000 residents in the zip code. And again, that is violent crimes. We aren't just talking about pickpockets and drunken disorderlies, though both of those things do happen still. Either way, Cleveland Brown Stadium is definitely one to be careful coming in and out of after a night game. MNT Bank Stadium, Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is a city with a very rich history and a very passionate sports culture, but it's also one of the most notorious for its struggles in sufficiently addressing the significant crime challenges that it faces. M&T Bank Stadium is located near some of Baltimore's more troubled neighborhoods, making it a place where fans need to be particularly careful after night games. All in, Baltimore's crime rate, particularly for violent crimes, is among the highest in the country, which means that the stakes are even higher because of the nature of the crimes that are committed in that area. There was actually a pretty terrifying incident that took place back in 2019 where several fans were mugged at gunpoint while walking to their cars after a night game. This stadium is definitely on the short list of places to be super careful at if you do choose to go see a game there. Caesars Superdome, New Orleans Saints. Caesars Superdome still stands as a very meaningful building to the people of New Orleans and is an iconic symbol of resilience and community spirit for the city. It played a huge role during Hurricane Katrina when it served as a refuge for thousands of residents, giving the Superdome a special place in the hearts of locals. However, it's a central location in the heart of New Orleans, and the fact that it's a stone's throw away from Bourbon Street also places it near some very high crime rates and really opens visitors up to some major risks. Tourists going to and from the Superdome are regularly targeted by pickpockets in the crowded streets after a night game. This is most certainly a fun place to catch a game, but one that anyone with a good sense would be particularly cautious should they choose to do so. AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys. The Arlington area, where Jerry Jones sprouted up AT&T Stadium, admittedly has just a moderate crime rate, but the areas around the stadium can become hotspots for incidents on game days. This is because the games have become a huge tourist attraction, and local criminals know that every Sunday that the Cowboys are home is a prime opportunity to target some susceptible people. The location of the stadium further complicates things for fans, especially ones that are visiting for the first time or maybe second time, because while the stadium itself is state-of-the-art in every single way, that surrounding area can be a bit of a challenge to navigate after dark. Arlington is a sprawling suburban area, and it lacks that feel and infrastructure of a dense urban environment. Definitely a very cool place to check out for visiting NFL fans, but we do strongly recommend keeping your wits about you while venturing to and from the stadium. Again, especially if it's a night game. MetLife Stadium, New York Jets/Giants. MetLife Stadium, home of the New York Jets and Giants, is, contrary to popular belief, located in East Rutherford, New Jersey, not actually in New York. Now, we call this out not just because of the hilariousness of the two named New York franchises not even playing in the Big Apple, but more so because they actually built the stadium to sidestep the city's astronomical development costs in crowded areas. The stadium is surrounded by large parking lots and highways, which has the side effect of isolating fans in this bubble around the venue that ultimately leaves them as sitting ducks for criminality. This issue is exacerbated because while you might think of mass transit when you think of New York, MetLife is actually far from being known or respected for the ability to get to these games via mass transit, meaning that a significant number of people actually end up driving to the stadium. This not only poses a risk for drunk driving and other motor vehicle related issues in the parking lot after games, but fans have regularly had their cars broken into during the games, as thieves have made a bit of a habit into breaking into vehicles in the more remote areas of the vast parking lot. We have unfortunately also seen some violent outbursts take place over the years, including an incident that took place about a decade ago involving a fan bringing a taser into the game. The Jets and Giants have both beefed up their security measures since then, but the fact remains that fans need to be hyper-vigilant if they go to a game at MetLife. But hey, which NFL stadiums do you think is the most dangerous to leave at night? Which ones did we get right? Which ones did we get wrong? Was there anything we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. But hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, well, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.